Hi, welcome back to Holly Hobbies. Let's make this fun and easy spring wreath. I'm going to use a 16-inch wire wreath frame and this beautiful powder blue deco mesh. We're going to put it all together with this adorable Easter sign and some beautiful flowers. So let's get started and have some fun and craft this beautiful spring wreath together. I found this beautiful Easter sign from Hobby Lobby, and look how cute it is with the bunny sitting in the meadow. And I wanted to show you how I prep my signs. I have 4 chenille stems and they're divided in half. I put a dab of hot glue, set the chenille stem on top with a scrap of felt right on top. And we're gonna go ahead and set this off to the side to dry, and then we'll have our chenille stems all secured and ready to attach to our wreath. And look at how cute that's gonna be. We're gonna be starting off with a 16-inch wire wreath frame. This one I got at Hobby Lobby. And we're gonna be prepping our wreath frame with our chenille stems. And you see how it's divided into sections here. We're gonna take one section at a time, and we're gonna use 3 chenille stems for each section. So the first section, we want it to come off the middle of this first bar, but we're gonna use this number 3. We're gonna call it 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna go off the number 3 to come off this number 4. So we're gonna put it on the number 3, and we're gonna bring it right in the middle, and we're gonna give it a couple twists. And I always like to go under or over. You don't have to do this, but it's just something that I like to do to give it a little extra so it doesn't move on you. So it's right there, and we're gonna place that one in the center, and then these two, we're gonna come on each side of that chenille stem, and we're going to be using the number 2 and the number 1 and coming off the number 1. So we're going to put it up here on the number 2, and we want it on each side, and we're going to give it a couple twists, bring it under or over, and another twist. And then you have that chenille stem on one side, and we're going to do the same thing, come off the number 2 and come on the other side, give it a twist, come under or over, and another couple twists. So as you can see, we have the 2 on the outside, and they're coming off the number 1, and then we have this one coming off the number 4, and it's coming off this way. So we're gonna do it one more time together. All right, we're gonna come on the middle, gonna come off the number 3, and give it a couple twists. I like to go in again, and a couple more twists, and we'll bring this one towards the center, and that'll give it out, keep it out of our way. And we're gonna go on each side of this, coming off the number 2, come into the number 2, get it about halfway, give it a couple twists, come under or over, and there you go. So we got one on that side, and you just take it one section at a time. I'm gonna come off the number 2, twist, under or over, and a twist. All right, so you see we've already done 2 sections. So I'm gonna go around and do that same pattern on each of these sections, and we'll get through this in no time, and we're gonna be ready to start our design. All right, so we are ready to begin our beautiful wreath design. And I'm gonna start with this beautiful powder blue, and it's a poly mesh ribbon, 10 inches wide. And we're gonna start with that. This one's open already, so I'm gonna start with this. So we have our ring prepped and ready. This is a 16-inch wire wreath frame. And we're gonna start with this inner ring here, and we're gonna use all these pipe cleaners on the inner, and then we're gonna jump to the outer, and we're gonna go around. So basically that's going to be our pattern. It's going to be a poof method. And what we're going to do is I'm going to, let me just get a nice clean edge here. So we're going to go in about 1.5 inches, and we're just going to pinch it and pleat it to the other side. And where we have it pinched in our finger here, we're just going to place it right in the middle. You can pick any chenille stem on that inner ring, and we're going to give it a couple twists and bring that back towards the center. All right, so let me think about what size poofs do we want to make today. And let's see, should we do 8? Should we do 9? Should we do 10? I think we're going to do a little bit smaller pleats. So let's do, I think we'll do 8. Okay, we're going to do 8-inch poofs. So I'm measuring from the 8 to the 16, and these mats are very helpful to measure as you're going along. It's nice to keep everything very uniform in size, and we're just going to give everything a little fluff as we go, each poof. So once again, I'm going to take my 8 inches. I'm going to measure 8 inches, and I'm going to hold it here at the 8, and you want to not pull it real tight, but just get a little taut, and we go to the 8-inch mark, and we have it pinched where it's measured at the 8 inches. And then we're going to go to the next chenille stem, open it up, place it right there in the center, and we give it 1 twist or so, 1 or 2 twists, that's all you need. And we give it another fluff. And we're just going to keep going around. We'll do one more together. And I got my 8 in, it's marked at the 8. I go to my 16, my 8 inches here, opening up the next chenille stem, placing it right there in the center. And I give it a couple twists and place it back towards the center. And so I'm going to keep going with my 8-inch poofs here around till I make it all the way around where we started with the first one. I'm making it around. I'm almost where we started. So we're going to go into that last one where we had originally started from, and we're going to place it right there on that chenille stem right on top and give it a couple twists. So now we've made that first complete loop around the inner ring of our wreath frame. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come to this one right out here to this edge, okay? And on this one, we're not going to do the 8-inch poof. We're just going to keep it right there and pull it nice and tight to this one. And now we're going to start the 8-inch poof. So we're just going to get that one off to the side, and now we're going to go around the outside ring in our 8-inch poofs. And we're going to do the same thing just like we did on that inner ring, but we're going to be on the outside of the ring now. And we're going to keep continuing in our 8-inch poofs, and these you can just kind of stick up in the air, kind of get them out of your way, because the chenille stems will start poking through the deco mesh and sticking on everything. So just kind of, sometimes you just have to either bring them up or out, whatever you want to do to get them out of your way, but we'll keep them up in the air because that seems to work better to keep them out of our way. So I'm going to do one more here, and then I'm going to keep working my way around the outer part of this ring until I get around to the other side. Continuing in my 8-inch poofs, and I'm going to fluff up each poof as I go. And this one stays straight up in the air, and it just stays out of our way. And it will stick on your clothes, especially this particular mesh is extra sticky, so keep that in mind, in your jewelry and all that kind of stuff as well. But I'm gonna keep going. We gotta make our way all the way around, and I'll be right back. Coming around, I'm almost at the end here. The last 2 here, and this is, we're back to where we started. and we're gonna go back in the one where we started. All right, look at how beautiful our base is starting to turn out. Look at that. We've done one complete loop on the inside and one complete loop on the outside. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back onto the inner ring, and you should still have plenty of deco mesh. And just like we did that one time when we didn't start again with the 8-inch, we just went kind of straight to the next chenille stem. So we're just gonna lay it, it almost comes to right at the edge of the wreath frame. And you're just gonna place it in that chenille stem. We're not doing the 8-inch poof. We're just laying it right there, right at the edge of that frame there, laying it down. And this was right where we ended, where we started there. See, it likes to stick on you. So now I have it secured down to the wreath frame, and now we can do the 8-inch poofs again. Now we're on the inner part of the ring, and now we're gonna repeat that same pattern that we did. Now, of course, we've got all this, so you've just kind of got to measure the best you can over the poofs. And I'm gonna continue with my 8-inch poofs. Again, I wanna do a second layer to get it nice and fluffy and have a beautiful base to build our wreath design. So now I just did my second poof on the inner circle. So I'm gonna continue around. We'll do another one together. We're gonna continue in 8-inch poofs. And I'm gonna go to that next chenille stem, place it right on top of the other one. Give it a couple twists, and that you can just kind of stick up or lay down, whatever you want to do to get it out of your way. And we're going to give that a poof. And look at how beautiful that powder blue is building up and making this gorgeous wreath base here. So I'm going to continue. And I'm gonna continue around the inner circle, and I'm gonna come back right where we started. Over here, you'll see where we had laid that piece down. So I'm gonna make it all the way around, and we're gonna meet when we get closer to the second layer of the inner circle. All right, I made it back to that little piece that we stretched across to the end of the bar, and that's where we had started from. So I'm gonna place it into that chenille stem. And now we have made 2 entire laps around the inner ring. And look at how beautiful that's building up. And now we're gonna make our last lap on the outer ring. So we're gonna continue just like we did before. We're not gonna do our 8-inch poof yet. We're gonna come to the edge of the ring, and we're gonna find that first chenille stem right here. We're gonna lay it in that chenille stem, which is right at the edge right there. Okay, and you can see how it's just pulled just a little bit to the edge. And now we're going to start the 8-inch poof. I'm going to continue. Look at how pretty that is with this blue. I love this powder blue. And it's just building up really nice, and we're fluffing up each poof as we go, and we're just getting those chenille stems straight up in the air. Keep them from poking and getting every place that they're not supposed to be. And I'm gonna continue around where we started, and we are almost done building the base of our beautiful Easter wreath here. And look at how gorgeous that is building up and coming along. So I'm gonna continue around. I gotta go all, let's see, over here. You'll see that one little piece where you had pulled straight across. It's right here. So I'm gonna make up my way around, and I'm gonna meet you when I get right over here, close to this last one. Now I ran out of deco mesh, so I wanted to show you that I did attach another roll here, and I zip tied it to the bottom, and I've already made it a couple loops in. And I'm just continuing around with this new roll of deco mesh now. And we're gonna keep going around that outside edge in our 8-inch loops until we make it a full circle 2 times. And that way we have a nice even base. I don't think I have too many. I think we're almost there. Once I get right, we're getting close. So I'm gonna keep going around this entire ring, and then we'll cut off our deco mesh and we'll zip tie it down, and then we will begin our beautiful design. I'm coming around to that last place where we started, because you could see where we stretched it to the end here of the wreath frame before we began those 8-inch poofs. So I'm going to put it in this last chenille stem, and that completes 2 circles around the inside and 2 complete circles around the outside. And we'll go ahead and cut this off about 2 inches. And we'll go ahead and zip tie this to the bottom, just like we have everything else. We'll just flip it upside down and just kind of bring it through your mesh rolls here till you get to your wire frame. And we're just going to place our chenille stem in there, our zip tie, and secure that raw edge there to the wreath frame. So look at how gorgeous our base is that we just created on our 16-inch wire wreath frame. We did 8-inch poofs, and we did 2 going around the inner. Then we brought it to the outside of the wreath frame, and we did 2 going around the outer. So isn't that just completely gorgeous? I love that powder blue, and I think it's gonna look so pretty with our wreath design. So we're gonna prep this wreath for the next step. For this next step, I like to get all my chenille stems prepped, and we want to get all of these. Okay, so we're gonna take each chenille stem, we're gonna flip our wreath upside down. We're gonna take each chenille stem and put 1 on each side of the bar, the wire frame bar here. We're gonna twist it about 1/2 inch or so, and then you can clip it, and then this is the pointy part, and just lay it down. And we're gonna go around, and remember there was 1 on the middle of each side, and we're gonna do this finishing thing on our chenille stems on each chenille stem. And I'm gonna flip that down. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get all of these in the middle, and then we're gonna come back and get the 2 on the outside ring. I finished all of them on the inner circle, except for this one. I'm sorry, I didn't see that one. Got 1 more. Sometimes they hide on you. This one secured, and this is all of them on the inner. And then now I'm going to make my way to the outer ring, and we're going to do that same thing. Just going to find a bar, the closest bar, and just make sure you pull it up pretty good there, so the chenille stem is right close to the bar, and then we're going to push that down. And I'm gonna do the same thing all the way around this outside ring. And remember, we had 2 on each section, so it's a few more than we did on the inner ring. So I'm gonna keep making my way around and finishing up the rest of these chenille stems. All right, so we have all the chenille stems finished off, and look at our gorgeous powder blue wreath base that we have here to create a gorgeous wreath design. So let's get started with the next step. All right, so the next step, we're gonna add that Easter sign, that cute little bunny sign with the beautiful flowers. And we had our wreath sign all prepped, and now it's dry, so we can bend our chenille stems up in the air. And we're gonna go ahead and turn this around and point our chenille stems all towards the center of the wreath. And you just place it, just kind of decide where you want it. I mean, if you want to turn it, you know, just play around and decide where you want your sign to go. And let's see here. I think I'll go right about like that. And then we're gonna flip it around. Okay, so now we're gonna connect our chenille stems to the wire, each side of this wire wreath frame with the ones that we had just secured to the back of the sign. Just find your closest piece of the wire frame, and we're gonna go on one on each side and give it a few twists. You don't wanna bring it in too much. You want the sign to be floating right on top there of our wreath. And we can always readjust these chenille stems as you, if you want to make it a little tighter. So we're going to do that and just kind of push those down for now. Flip it over. And now we have our sign that's attached to our beautiful base here. And if you just kind of move it where you want, and then once you get it in your placement that you like it, you can always turn around and do the final securing of your chenille stems here. And I'll just do that. And then you can do just like anything else. You could, I'm just gonna twist it right around these other ones here. And you just finish them off just like we did everything else. And we'll just twist them and then put the point down. Okay, so we have our sign. I'm just gonna get these finished and out of the way. Okay, so now we have our base wreath. We have our cute little Easter sign on our 16-inch wire wreath frame that we went around 2 times on the inner with 8-inch poofs and 2 times on the outer with 8-inch poofs. And now we're ready to begin a beautiful Easter wreath design. Start off with a general design, and we just kind of let that creative energy move us and see where the design takes us. But the general design is this, and now we're going to get ready to attach some flower bundles to this beautiful spring wreath. So for this next step, we're going to be getting our little bundles prepped and ready to attach to our wreath. I'm going to use a chenille stem, and I'm just going to flip these 2 little bundles over, and we're just going to go through, I'm going to go through a couple little stems there, give it a good anchor. I'm going to go through both of those like that, and I'm going to give it a good couple twists. I'm going to get, so it's the chenille stems a little bit more even. And we're just going to wrap our chenille stems around each other, give them a good couple twists here. And then I'll take my hot glue gun here, and I'll just put a little dab right here, just a little one. And I'm gonna do that for each of these little bundles here. And then that way we're gonna have this chenille stem to attach it to that wire wreath frame. So I'm gonna keep going with each of these bundles, and I'll meet you right back. I'll do another bundle with you. We have these 2 purple ones. And I'm gonna grab my chenille stem, divide it in half. And I'm just gonna put those together. I'll put it through that little thing right there, but I'm not gonna rely on that. So I'm gonna give it a couple twists, and then I'll just wrap it a couple times around the whole bundle. Every bundle's different, so you'll figure out a little system, and then we secure it right there. So I'm gonna finish up the rest of these bundles, and we're gonna get ready to secure these to our wire wreath frame. All right, so I have all my little flower bundles attached with my chenille stem with a little dab of hot glue. And now we're gonna go around and we're gonna secure all these little bundles. I just have them upside down where I wanted them. So now what we're gonna do is, now that everything's dried, we're gonna secure you're gonna put these where you want them, and you can just you can just pull your layers of mesh back and you'll see the wire wreath frame right there. And you're just gonna put a chenille stem on each side, and you're just gonna nestle, and there'll be a little, maybe some stems of the flower, and you can just make sure it goes where you want it to go. You can lay it, try to get a little flatter if you want. And we're just gonna place that flower where we want it. There we go, want it to lay flat a little bit better. And then, let me take these off. So I have that flower placed about where I want it. I'm gonna flip it over. And as you can see, I have the chenille stem. It's on each side of this wire bar. And now I'm just gonna secure that little flower bundle, just like that. And then we'll do it like we did everything else, about a 1/2 inch, clip it and lay it flat. And we flip it around and we have our one beautiful little bundle attached there. So we're gonna just go around and you're gonna build your design. I wanted to show you, now see how this is really long? You just clip that down because that's gonna stick down, be too long. There you go. And then we're just going to keep placing your flowers where you want them, and you're just going to do that same thing. I think I want, let's see, I'm going to put this one right through this little, and if you have any holes, any little gaps, any places where you see that wire frame, it's a great place to put a little bundle. And I'm going to open that up. I see 2 bars there. I'm going to pick that one bar, put the chenille stem on each side, and I'm going to just nestle this where I want it. Sometimes you have to play around a little bit and get that little, maybe sometimes that plastic stem to lay where you want it. And once again, I'm going on each side of that wire bar right there, and I'm going to twist it down about a 1/2 inch or so. Give it a clip, and now we have 2 beautiful bundles attached right there to our wreath. And I'm going to keep going with this design, and we're just going to keep building this up the way we would like it. I might put that one. So I'm going to play around a little bit more, and I'm going to attach the rest of these bundles to this wreath. And look at how beautiful and how easy that is. I'll be right back. So I'm going around and I'm securing my bundles, and I did want to show you, sometimes it might get a little tight and you might not be able to get it on each side of that bar. So what I do is I'll just get it where I want it, and I bring it around here, and I know it's not on each side of the bar yet. And then I can just, you flip it upside down and see it better and make sure it goes on each side of the bar. So as long as it's on each side of that bar, it is going to be secure. And if a little piece is sticking up like that, you can always just cut it down a little bit there. So look at our beautiful flowers, and our design is coming along. So I'm going to keep adding some more bundles, and I'll meet you right back. Our beautiful Easter design is just coming along so nice. And I did want to show you, like, this is a little sprig that I have, and it does have wire already in it. So for something like that, I'm just going to stick it in between the wire where I want it. And then what I'll do is you can always just flip it back here, and then you can use this wire to just kind of weave it, bend it and weave it in between these wire bars. And that way you don't have to do the chenille stem, and it's gonna stay nice and secure where you want it. So we're getting there. I feel like I need a couple little extras. Maybe this maybe up here. And I'm gonna stick in there. That one I'm just gonna hot glue gun that one. Make sure it's where I want it. All right, look at how beautiful our Easter design is coming out. And all right, I might get a few more pieces of maybe some lavender sprigs and we're gonna hot glue gun those in there. So we're just gonna hot glue gun these little guys here, but everything else is secured to the wireframe really good. I think I might just get a couple more flowers. I'm not sure if we're gonna add ribbon to this because I am just loving it with the flowers. I do want to show you the last thing that I usually do is I get a nice thick zip tie, and I'll always find the center of my wreath, and I'll just put it onto that top ring, the top wire, and I'm going to go ahead and secure it, and this will give it about, probably pull it till about a 1/2 inch or so, so you still have a little loop, so gives it a little, you need a little hanger for it right there. And then look at that, gorgeous. And then what you can do is this is what your back is going to look like at the end here. And if you want, you can just leave it like that, which is fine, no one's going to see it. Or you can also, if you want to do a nice finishing back, I do cardboard. I'll measure out my wire wreath frame before I start my design, and then I'll do the cardboard back. I'll put 4 hole punches in, and I'll use my zip ties and secure it to the back. You can also do a piece of felt and the same type of thing, zip tie it to the back. I'm so happy that you came by and crafted this beautiful spring wreath with me today, and that you'll come back to my channel and craft with me some more. Thank you for watching Holly Hobbies, from my heart to yours.